brought up in a very sort of strict conservative Catholic upbringing. I know that there's many of us that sort of have come from that type of upbringing. In particular, my family came from an island in Portugal, so there's different, it's not to say that everybody had that experience that I had. The experience I had, I was born there, my family was born there, we emigrated when I was 5. That particular island, the whole feel about the religion and how it played in your life had to do mostly with suffering. So that's how I was brought up. It was about, and my cousins and my family, my immediate family, that everybody had the same sort of views or values instilled in them. And so, that was really a big part of me growing as a person with those kind of values, or I like to say attachments. I had a lot of attachments that were around suffering and fear, and not really feeling like blossoming and having joy and being the person that God intended you to be wasn't really a big part of that. It was very suppressed. So it took me a while to sort of, come to that connection and to know deep inside that that was very much about the divine plan for all of us. So when I was introduced to Sahaja Yoga, I had been a seeker for many years, so I tried to sort of find a connection. I befriended friends at work. I had a little bit of travel in my 20s where I went to Nepal, and I was in Africa, so I wanted to know as much as I could about different faiths to see, what was the right answer. So it was very much, I had a lot of seeking in my life, trying to find the right answer. And but through that was good. I realized that there was no right path, and I became very universal in my views, which I realized when I came to Sahaja that's very much a Sahaja thing, is a universal religion, so it sat really well with me. So when I did start Sahaja, I really felt like I was in the right place. Some of the things that I brought before were, of course, the seeking part, the really feeling like I knew who I was. So both spiritually, that was still not really affirmed in my being, and also as a person, qualities to do with self-esteem, believing in yourself, knowing who you are, all those qualities I still seem to be always kind of wondering or doubting. So when I sat in the first class and John talked about some of these things, I thought, wow, I'm really in the right place. I thought, wow, this is great, because he spoke about all these qualities, along the different chakras that, once enlightened and activated, could bring you that sense of peace in who you are, and the connection to the divine, and the global connection and the community connection. So I just thought, I'm definitely in the right place. So when we started the Guru game, getting back to the Nabhi and why I'm speaking here tonight, it was very, very, it was actually amazing that I got that, because probably for the last 10 years, a big element in my life has been worry and stress. And my husband and I both left the corporate world, and we both started our own businesses. At the same time, I started my I have 3 children, 3 boys, so I did sort of a part-time design business from home, and my husband ventured out doing different things. So it's been quite a roller coaster ride, I would say, for the last 10 years between the both of us of working and not working. So that's always kind of been a cloud over, unfortunately, one that I let be a cloud over our heads. And again, being parents, you're always concerned about your children. And then recently, like at Christmas time, we had a really sort of a hard hit where we thought we might lose our house. So we were at the time contemplating or wondering if we maybe were going to move in with my parents again, or maybe move into an apartment. So it was very real. Just feels like just the other day, but thank goodness it was many months ago. And then I started Sahaja in February, and at that point I was just like, okay, I just don't know, what to do anymore. I felt like I didn't have the answers anymore. 3 years back, I had made the decision to go back to school, to go to teacher's college, and for something a little bit more secure in my life, a new career. It related to what I had done before, design. It was teaching design, tech and design in a high school. That was my certification. But I seemed to get in it at a time where they weren't hiring teachers. So if any of you are familiar with the teaching industry, now is not the time to get into teaching, or at least 3 years ago. Maybe it's starting to come out, but I think still now it's a little iffy. But so during that time, probably for about a year, we were both without work. So recently, I started Sahaja, and I focused on the Nabhi because that was very much something that I was needing to activate the whole piece. You know, we can see here, that's a huge one piece. You know, seeing if I could remove the blockages of, to do with like money and career and worry and anxiety, all those blockages and all those heavy things that I carried. And I had always sort of worked on that, but I felt that this approach and the Sahaja way really seemed to hit home for me, hit home inside, like divine, our spirit within. It seemed to connect. So that was very helpful to me. So that was, you know, in May I started to really focus on that, with it, you know, thanks to the Guru Game. And so something really neat happened. I was at the grocery store, and this was like early June, and I ran into an old employer, and she had asked me if I had found any work in teaching. And I had said, you know, not really. I was trying to be positive. I said, you know, trying my best, volunteering, this and that. And she says, okay, well, I have a friend, and she's opening a new school. It's under renovations right now. It's in Oakville. It's a private school, boys' school. And I believe she's still looking for 1 or 2 more teachers. You know, here's her email. Why don't you send her an email? So I thought, okay, all right, that sounds really good. But I was a little, you know, still those attachments of like fear and, you know, not knowing. So I emailed her friend, and then I received a phone call to come in for an interview. So I thought, okay, so you know what, they probably really need supply teachers. So I went for the interview, and to make a long story short, in June I was hired as their elementary art teacher, which is like really bizarre. But I think that is like Sri Mataji, you know, in one of her talks, or probably many of her talks, but the ones that I've listened to, she talks about sort of letting go of those worries and those concerns, and things will work out. They will be taken care of. So I really believe that was a time in my life, and that aspect was being taken care of. So it was really wonderful. So I want to go on a little bit if I still have time.
You have time. You have to take your time.
Just how this connects to when I recently played the Guru game with the heart chakra. So as wonderful as this opportunity came my way, and as much as they had all the faith in me, I'm still working on it. I think I'm getting a lot better. Didn't quite have the faith in myself to take on this art teacher role without having the speciality. Although I knew I could do art, but being a private school, you know, everything's like to the T, and have to, you know, do a really great job. And so those past attachments of fear and self-doubt were creeping back in. So I've obviously with Sahaj, I've been going to the lake and meditating, and I just said, you know, and this was before I did the Guru Game for the Heart, and I was just saying, like, I just have so much fear about this upcoming job that starts in September, about how I'm going to be able to, you know, obviously show my gratitude for them to hire me, but just do a really good job and be able to teach properly. What's been really great is focusing last little while on the heart chakra, and especially the center chakra for courage and removing blockages of fear. I've been doing that like every morning. I get up early, and I've been doing my meditations, and that's been my focus. And I've been trying to also contemplate some other of Sri Mataji's words about when you have fear and you know, you're putting sort of that out there, that, you know, let go of that and put joy into it. So turn it around and put the joy into it, and let joy come out of that. So I've been driving in the morning thinking, I'm going to put joy into my classroom. I've been like, going to show those boys joy, and going to have a really good day. So I've been trying to do the work, as they say. And so, those are some really great things that have been happening to me and helping me to evolve spiritually, but also to, connect to myself and know who I am. And actually, I just want to tell you another little thing that's kind of neat. So, is that okay? Do we still have
Super,
time?
totally, yes.
Okay, so this even happened before Christmas, and this has to do with signs. And in Sahaja, we don't really look for signs. That's not part of what we believe, and it's from within and our connection to the divine. But something kind of funny has been happening, and I just wanted to mention it because it's really kind of neat. So before Christmas, right before I started Sahaja, I kept seeing license plates with the word Bava on it, B-A-V-A, or it would be B-H-B-A-V-A or B-H-A-V. And I kept seeing this, like, it was like ridiculous. I kept seeing it like every day, like 3 or 4 cars. It would never happen when my husband was in the car with me, because I would tell him, and he'd be like, wondering, what are you talking about? We've never seen those license plates. But when I was in the car driving around, I would always see this. And then just a little while ago, I decided to Google what the spiritual meaning was of Bava. And again, not trying to put too much into signs, but it was interesting because Bava Sagara, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Absolutely, yes.
Is the whole, represents the void. And this part, everything again to do with, our dharma, our who we are, our connection to the primordial masters that are reincarnated, and they represent the aspects that we have to learn and balance in our lives. Like, for example, Moses being the main one who came to us with the 10 Commandments and about what is righteous, what is, knowing automatically. Once we have that dharma, we evolve in here, that we automatically know what is right. And all the other masters, that I can't remember who they all are, but Socrates being one, and Abraham, Lao Tzu. So every time these masters came to us, they brought us these wonderful lessons and philosophies about balance in our life, and teaching us how to connect. And as Sri Mataji talks about, weighted in our spirit, like right here. And that is very much, a part of our evolution, so that we know with all our true knowledge and knowing and feeling, both spiritually and physically and psychologically, that we are connected to the divine. So I thought it was really neat that, I kept seeing these Bava signs, because now I know what it's about. And, you got to admit, there's a bit of a connection there. Yeah.
And it also means the ocean of illusions.
Right.
Exactly what you're fighting.
What I was fighting. That's right. So the ocean of illusion is very much when you're catching to these things that are about money, concerns, and focusing too much about money, and those things that keep us from evolving spiritually. That was very much what's been hanging on to me for 10 years or more. And so it's nice to know that I've been having a lot of evolving, and I mean that's a lifelong journey. But so anyway, that's sort of been my journey till now. Many more journeys to come along that path. So that's it. So I poked myself, I was in the classroom, and one of the boys, this was only 2 weeks ago, lifted up a hard board as I was leaning forward to help him, right in the eye. And I just thought, okay, that's a goner for another week or two. It was really bad, and it was really weepy and watery and swollen, but a day later, it was fine. It was amazing. So I find that there's a lot of good vibrations happening that will help us. So anyway.